So I would like, first of all, to introduce myself. My name is Iryna Belan. I'm a journalist. I'm a mother. I have absolutely amazing 15 years old son and absolutely furious small dog. And I'm Ukrainian. Several months ago, I was so naive that I thought that I'm a cosmopolitan. But now I think that I'm Ukrainian. I not even think about that. I'm sure in that. And although all these 3 months, I prohibited myself to speak about love. Now I would like to say that I'm a little bit in love, a big little bit. Okay. So I remember the geishas, sort of remember. What I know about them flashes before me like multicolored pieces of glass inside a tube. We used to have one when we were kids, a kaleidoscope. Spin it, glass roll over, fold into a new picture. That is how all the fragments of the picture called geisha roll before my eyes. Heavy makeup, heavy sandals, their hands hidden in the heavy sleeves of the robe. The geisha is walking small steps on bent legs in Japanese watercolors. Watercolors and chewing gums were brought by Kherson sailors. Actually, they were postcards. On one side, there is an insert of thin cambric with some unthinkably delicate watercolor, quite unpretentious. 3-stroke of the brush and I see a conditional Fujiyama. Cherry blossoms are sure to bloom silent pink. It is called Ashes of the Rose. Somebody burned a rose and noticed that petals burning turned a noble gray hue. There is no nobility in pink. There are ambitions and challenges, but no nobility. The ashes of a rose. Why would this someone start burning a rosebud? I now feel like a rose burned for the sake of curiosity. I am. Who am I? Who am I? I am in a foreign country at a foreign table with traces of glue and paints left by other people's children. I have a bouquet of my favorite tulips in front of me. As teenagers in Kherson, we practiced kissing on tulips. I would wear my father's cognac as perfume. In Novaya Kakhovka near Kherson, they used to make excellent cognac. It won exhibitions in Paris. I cannot comment on its taste, however, but box was pretty elegant. The scent was expensive. I attached the brandy cork behind my ears and on my wrists. My grandmother does the same, in gray-haired curls with a small leather purse on her arm bent in the elbow. No other woman in our family allows herself frivolous curls, a purse, or the red Moscow perfume that stands on a dressing table in an eternally dark vestibule. She's the only one who has a dressing table too. Only my grandmother, who gave birth to my mother in the basement of the house to the sound of the bombing in 1941, has a purse. My grandfather had died a couple of months before my mother was born. All that remained of him was an official photograph in his flight uniform. There is a uniform of an aviation lieutenant. There is a hair-to-hair hairdo, but there is no person. Last year, Finland responded to my brother's request and sent a photo of my grandfather taken a few days before his death. He died of a cold in captivity. In the photo, there is a boy wearing a turtleneck sweater, sitting on a bed with his legs tucked under him with thick striped woolen socks on. He is smiling slightly. I know he is smiling at me. My grandfather, who still has no imprints of those years, is smiling at me. A relaxed guy with a buzz cut who could very well be a visitor of the Kyiv Mimosa or the New York Dead Rabbit is smiling at me. My boyish grandpa, who is much younger than I am now, is smiling at me. He knew for sure that this photo would fall into my hands 60 years later. Hold on, little one, I am here. Тримайся, mala, I am here. And I am holding on with my nails against the wall. Next to the tulips, there is a portrait of Sanya. In my suitcase, in addition to the bagels, which we ate for 12 and a half days, anticipating the war to start, I put the documents, Sanya's childhood photos, icons, and favorite framed paintings to hang around and immediately make the new room look like home. Besides them, I took perfumes, 2 evening gowns, and Sanya's boxing uniform. In the suitcase, I have 2 pairs of warm socks for Sanya, the socks his aunt knitted for him for the new year, for a happy new year 2022. I really was looking forward to this new year. We were all waiting for it. We expected it to be different. It is different indeed, absolutely. I'm sitting in my evening gown in a cold room under the roof. I tuck my legs under me, legs in thick striped woolen socks, my son's socks. He miraculously resembles his great-grandfather and the size of his feet too, 46. These socks reach almost to my knees. They have remarkable striped colors, mustard, emerald, and chocolate. They don't have pink. I like chocolate. I eat it when I am sad, when I submit a project, and when I want love, unconditional love. I don't have to eat over conditional love. But my grandmother never used to have chocolate in her purse. They are take off or cancer sticks. Grandma gives them one at a time from the bunny, always at the same moment as she clicks the key on the door of her apartment on the top floor of the 5-story building before we cross the threshold of her house. There is a ritual grandeur in this. I swallow the candy like a wafer in a church and walk through the porch of a dark vestibule. Penitent sinners or the unbaptized are only allowed into. Grandmother is not a believer in this sense of the word. She believes and hopes only for herself. But speaking of her, I always slip into religious vocabulary. I walk through a dark vestibule, sure to hit the protruding refrigerator. Grandma has 3 refrigerators, 2 refrigerators and 1 refrigerating chamber. Its pregnant belly protrudes from the hallway. I go out of the dark vestibule into the same dark room. Grandma's windows are always closed. In summer, they are carved with leaves of wild grapes. In winter, carved with sheets. Getting older, so did my mother. They never made it out of the basement where my grandmother gave birth to my mom. I am looking at white tulips. They are not Kherson. They are Saint Hubert ones. Тримаємось, малі.